Good morning, boys and girls. It's Miss Snow, and I'm going to try something different today. Um, I'm going to go through my post on class tag and just go through it with watching the videos and the links, and I'm going to pretend like um, all of you are here with me watching me. We're going to watch it like we're in class on the Promethean board. Okay, so we're going to start with April 30th, day 24. That's today. All right, this is my post on class tag. I'm going to click on, I know you can't hardly see this picture. This is the one that was attached to our document that we share with the first grade teachers. And when I tried to use it, it was blurry, but I cannot copy it and paste it as a, I can't copy it and paste it with the other stuff because photos don't copy and paste in a group of words and things. So there you have it. But it's enough where you ought to be able to use it. If it's not your parent, I might be able to actually replace that in a few minutes if you need it. I think that you'll be okay, but let's go. I think you can read it. The first thing that I have is your math assignment from the choice boards. These are the exact same things on the choice boards. We're trying to show you and your parents that you don't necessarily have to even have the choice boards right now if you use our post, because we copy it and paste it and separate it and make it easier for you to keep up with doing it daily. So it says you're going to be the teaching is adding 2-digit and 1-digit numbers on a hundreds chart. For example, which is right here, 27 plus 5 equals 32. If you have 27 and you add 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, your answer is 32. Okay? I'm outside. There are bugs everywhere. All right, so before I even read any of these things, it says use a hundreds chart, which is the one I have, or you can print one. Use an object like a coin, a goldfish, a bead, etc. to put on top of the number, like, for instance, to lay it on top of 27. Then add 5 by moving the object 5 spaces. 28, 29, 30, 31, and your answer should be 32. The object should now be on the number 32. The sum of 27 plus 5 is 32. All right, we're going to watch Ms. Dyer's video together.
Welcome back, Math Wizards. It is Thursday, April 30th,
Oh,
and we are continuing on with adding 2-digit
oh, there it is. Sorry.
numbers plus 1-digit numbers. And so far this week, we've looked at that with regrouping, without regrouping, and with a number line. Well, today we're going to look at another strategy, which is our hundreds charts. Now, if you do not have a hundreds chart printed out, not painted, but printed, you can click on the link on your choice board in the right-hand column, and that will pull up a hundreds chart. Mom or dad, that'll pull up a hundreds chart that you can print out for your child to use. Or if you can't print it out, guys, just put your finger on my hundreds chart that I have up here
Right in here.
on the video, okay? That'll certainly work too. Alright guys, so let's take a look at how we use a hundreds chart to add 2-digit plus 1-digit numbers. So in this problem, 27 plus 5, remember we talked about earlier this week that we want to start on the bigger number because that's going to help us get to our answer faster. And what I mean by that is if I start on 5 and I'm going to add 27, oh my goodness, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. You see how long it's taking. So we don't want to start with the smaller number. We want to start with the bigger number. So the bigger number is 27. So you're going to come over here and bring your counter to the 27. Okay? And if you're at home doing this with me and you don't have counters, you can grab some cereal, you can grab some beans, you can grab, I don't even know, you can have some Skittles or M&Ms
Or
or something.
rocks.
Or like I said, you can just use your finger, or you can, write real start counting on the 27. We start next to the 27 because that's one more and we're adding. So we say 1,
2, 3, 4, 5.
All right. So 27 plus 5, what did we land on? Let's peek.
32.
27 plus 5 is 32. All right. So let's try another one. Let's move our counters here. Let's get this one down here, 18 plus 2. So where are we going to put our counter? Are we going to put it on the 18 or are we going to put it on the 2?
Remember, she said put it on the biggest number.
We're going to put it on the 18. You're exactly right. We're putting it on the 18 because that's the bigger number, right? So there's 18. And then we're going to add 2 more. So we're going to bring our next dot and we're going to start counting right here beside the first dot. 1, 2. So 18 plus 2 is, let's take a look,
20.
18 plus 2 is 20. So you can write that answer down beside that problem right there. So look guys, I want you to try these next 3 problems on your own, remembering to start where the bigger number is. If you don't have a hundreds chart, you can look at this one right here. I'll even move these dots out of your way. Or if you're able, there's a link on your choice board for mom or dad, grandma, grandpa to print that hundreds chart out for you. And I would even hold on to it because you might need it again later. All right? So go see how you do with these problems, and I'll see you tomorrow as we work into some word problems. Great.
I'm going to pause it right there because the next one is 26 plus 5. So you're going to put your finger or your item on the what number? 26 or 5. Yes, 26 because it is the bigger number. All right, and then you're going to go up, move up 5. It's just like the number line that we did in class, just like the number line that you did yesterday. So you're going to do the answer for, you need to have a piece of paper for this. You need to have a piece of paper for this, and you need to be collecting this. I remember I told you when Choice Board started to get a composition notebook or some type of notebook to put paper in and keep all your work together in one place. You should be writing this down on these pieces of paper. And this is when your mom and dad should take a picture of you watching the videos and then completing the work. Or yes, pictures. All right, so you're going to do 26 plus 5 by yourself, 43 plus 6, and 88 plus 7. That's all you have to do. It's just like if we were in class, and I showed you this on the Promethean board, and then we went back to our seats for a few minutes to work on problems by ourselves. Okay? She introduced it to you and did one for you. Then we did that one together, and now we're sending you back to your seat to do these 3 on your own, just like class. All right, I'm going to minimize this one now. And then your math is done. Lickety split, just like that. All right. The ELA assignment from Choice Boards. Now, parents, I know that some of you are going to give your child I call my children kids, give your child extras of these to practice, and that is fantastic. That's exactly what should be happening. They should practice. I mean, there's 3 of these. If you're able to give them more, as long as they're doing it correctly, then give them more. That only helps. All right, so we're going to go down to ELA assignments from the Choice Board. You're going to read 20 to 30 minutes. This is what I told parents in my remind message today. The administration is asking, are you reminding your students to read? I showed them a picture of my post and I said, yes. I know some of you are reading books at home, real books. I love it. And I told the administration that. Some of them are reading real books, but they want to be able to check and see who's still reading. And the only way that we can do that and monitor that is through RazKids. So if you'll just humor us, help us out, and just have your child read a book a day at least. Remember what I told you in my video, oh, how I wish I could read. We worked all year on building stamina for reading without interruption. Don't lose that. We worked hard to get there. So keep reading every day for 20 minutes or more. All right? So you're going to click here. You're going to find your favorite book or magazine from Kids A to Z. If you click on it, it goes straight to where you need to be, especially if you're in my class. I know for sure this is correct. You're going to find your name, and you're going to read a book. Remember, I want you to read your book yourself. I don't mind if you listen to books, but I want at least 1 or 2 books done where you're reading on your own. Okay? Stop the video now. I want to pause the video. I want you to go sign in. I'm just going to sign in under Tristan. I didn't mean to hit. Oh, that's not my kid, so I better go back out. It was my kid. Let me go back out. I'm going to go on Divinity because I know Divinity's mama won't mind. I'm going to go on Divinity, hit that duck, go. And then I'm going to pick the reading room, and I'm going to find a book that I can read to myself. I want you to read at least 1 book, 1 to 2 books a day, all by yourself, and then the rest you can read along with the person that's reading. But that's not really going to help you. It'll help you with fluency, but we want you to be able to use those strategies that we've taught you to read on your own and build stamina reading on your own. Okay, so I'm going to go back here. You pause the video and read for 20 minutes. Okay? I'll see you when you get back. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully, you did what I asked you to do, and you read one of your favorite books. Now, I want you to think about the book that you read that was your favorite out of the ones that you read, and I want you to retell the story, including what happened at the beginning, the middle, and the end to someone that is there. All right? Parents, if possible, it would be nice if you could listen to your child read. I know some of you aren't able to do this, but if you could listen to them read 1 book and then let that be the book that they're telling you the beginning, the middle, and the end with, because then you can help to make sure that they're doing that correctly. Okay, boys and girls, after you've told that person the beginning, the middle, and the end, I want you to draw a picture of what happened in the beginning, the middle, and the end. And then I want you to write a sentence under each picture that says, the first one I want you to write in the beginning, and then tell what you drew a picture of in the middle of the story, and then at the end of the story. All right, here's Miss Dyer's video to help you with this. So this video goes along with your reading from Raz Kids. We're going to watch the video. It's a short video. It's 13 minutes.
Hey guys, happy Thursday! It is April 30th, and for ELA, we are working on retelling a story. So your choice word today tells you to read a story. That could be any story that you want to use. It could be one you have around your house, one you're reading on Raz Kids, or Epic, or you listen to on Storyline online. It could be any book that you choose.
Any book.
So then you're going to practice retelling the story with your words, and then drawing pictures of the beginning, the middle, and the end, and then writing a sentence to match your picture. Remember, when we're retelling a story, we don't tell every word from the story. Only retell the important parts. And I have this anchor chart here that will help you to remember how to do that. So first you start at the beginning, you tell who the characters are, the setting of the story. Then you move up to the middle part of the story and identify the problem that the character has. And then at the end of the story, you tell how that problem got solved. I'm going to go through this with you today using the story Enemy Pie. And if you want to retell your story as I go through, you can pause the video and do the steps with me.
I'm going to pause the video for just a second and remind you that the beginning, the middle, and the end is something that you would do with a fiction book, not a nonfiction book. That's different. So make sure you're reading a fiction story that you can do this with. Oh. I'm going to pause it because I want to make sure she was... And we'll go back to her video. There it goes right there. Sorry about that.
You can listen to the whole video and then retell a story at the end by yourself. So take a listen to this story, Enemy Pie. It should have been a perfect summer. My dad helped me build a treehouse in our backyard. My sister was at camp for 3 whole weeks, and I was on the best baseball team in town. It should have been a perfect summer, but it wasn't. It was all good until Jeremy Ross moved into the neighborhood right next door to my best friend Stanley. I did not like Jeremy Ross. He laughed at me when he struck me out in a baseball game. He had a party on his trampoline and I wasn't even invited. But my best friend Stanley was. Jeremy Ross was the one and only person on my enemy list. I never even had an enemy list before he moved into the neighborhood. But as soon as he came along, I needed one, and I hung it up in my treehouse where Jeremy Ross was not allowed to go. Dad understood stuff like enemies. He told me that when he was my age, he had enemies too, but he knew a way to get rid of them. I asked him to tell me how. Tell you? I'll show you, he said. He pulled a really old recipe book off the shelf. Inside was a worn-out scrap of paper with faded writing. Dad held it up and squinted at it. Enemy pie, he said, satisfied. You may be wondering, what exactly is in enemy pie? I was wondering, but Dad said the recipe was so secret he couldn't even tell me. I decided it must be magic. I begged him to tell me something, anything. I will tell you this, he said. Enemy pie is the fastest known way to get rid of enemies. Now, of course, this got my mind working. What kinds of things, disgusting things, would I put into a pie for an enemy? I brought Dad some weeds from the garden, but he just shook his head. I brought him earthworms and rocks, but he didn't think he needed those. I gave him the gum I've been chewing all morning. He gave it right back to me.
Yuck.
I went to play alone. I shot baskets until the ball got stuck on the roof. I threw a boomerang that never came back to me, and all the while I was listening to the sound of my dad chopping and stirring and blending the ingredients of enemy pie. This could be a great summer after all. Enemy pie was going to be awful. I tried to imagine how horrible it must smell, or worse yet, what it would taste like. But when I was in the backyard looking for ladybugs, I smelled something really, really good, and from what I could tell, it was coming from our kitchen. I was a bit confused. I went in to ask Dad what was wrong. Enemy pie shouldn't smell this good. Dad was smart. If it smelled bad, your enemy would never eat it, he said. I could tell he'd made enemy pie before. The buzzer rang and Dad pulled the pie from the oven. It looked like plain old pie. It looked good enough to eat. I was catching on, but still I wasn't really sure how this enemy pie worked. What exactly does it do to enemies? Maybe it made their hair fall out or their breath stinky. Maybe it made bullies cry. I asked Dad, but he was no help. He wouldn't tell me a thing. While the pie cooled, he filled me in on my job. He talked quietly. There is one part of enemy pie that I can't do in order for it to work. You need to spend a day with your enemy. Even worse, you have to be nice to him.
Oh my.
It's not easy, but that's the only way the enemy pie can work. Are you sure you want to go through with this? Of course I was. It sounded horrible. It was scary, but worth a try. All I had to do was spend one day with Jeremy Ross, and he'd be out of my hair for the rest of my life. I rode my bike to his house and knocked on the door. When Jeremy opened the door, he seemed surprised. He on the other side of the screen and looked at me to say something. I was nervous. Can you play? I asked. He looked confused. I'll go ask my mom, he said. He came back with his shoes in his hand. His mom walked around the corner to say hello. You boys stay out of trouble, she said, smiling. We rode bikes for a while and played on the trampoline. Then we made water balloons, threw them at the neighbor girls, but we missed. Jeremy's mom made us lunch. We went over to my house. It was strange, but I was kind of having fun with my enemy. He almost seemed nice, but of course I couldn't tell my dad that since he had worked so hard to make the enemy pie. Jeremy Ross liked my basketball hoop and said he wished he had a basketball hoop, but they didn't have room for one. I let him win a game just to be nice. Jeremy Ross knew how to throw a boomerang. He threw it, and it came right back to him. I threw it, and it went over my house into the backyard. When we climbed over the fence to find it, the first thing Jeremy noticed was my treehouse. My treehouse was my treehouse. I was the boss. If my sister wanted in, I didn't have to let her. If my dad wanted in, I didn't have to let him. And if Jeremy wanted in, can we go in it, he asked. I knew he was going to ask me that, but he was the top person, the only person on my enemy list, and enemies weren't allowed in my treehouse. But he did teach me how to throw a boomerang, and he did have me over for lunch, and he did let me play on his trampoline. He wasn't being a very good enemy. Okay, I said, but hold on. I climbed up ahead of him and tore the enemy list off the wall. I had a
Good idea.
and some cards in the playhouse. We played games until my dad called us down for dinner. We pretended we didn't hear him. When he came out to get us, we tried to hide from him, but somehow he found us. Dad made us macaroni and cheese for dinner, my favorite. It was Jeremy's favorite too. Maybe Jeremy Ross wasn't so bad after all. I was beginning to think that maybe we should just forget about enemy pie. But after dinner, Dad brought out the pie, and I watched as he cut the pie into 8 thick slices. Dad, I said, it sure is nice having a new friend in the neighborhood. I was trying to get his attention and trying to tell him that Jeremy Ross was no longer my enemy. But my dad smiled and nodded. I think he thinks I was just pretending. Dad dished up 3 plates side by side with big pieces of pie and giant scoops of ice cream. He passed one to me and one to Jeremy. Wow, Jeremy said, looking at the pie. My dad never makes pie like this. It was at this point I panicked. I didn't want Jeremy to eat enemy pie. He was my friend. I couldn't let him eat it. Jeremy, don't eat it. It's bad pie. I think it's poison or something. Jeremy's fork stopped before reaching his mouth, rumpled his eyebrows, and looked at me funny. I felt relieved. I had saved his life. I was a hero. If it's so bad, Jeremy asked, then why has your dad already eaten half of it? I turned to look at my dad, and sure enough, he was eating enemy pie. Good stuff, he mumbled through a mouthful, and that was all he said. I sat there watching him eat enemy pie for a few seconds. Dad was laughing. Jeremy was happily eating, and neither of them was losing any hair. Seemed safe enough, so I took a tiny taste. Enemy pie.
I think I know what's going on.
Delicious. After dessert, Jeremy rode his bike home, but not before inviting me to play on his trampoline in the morning. He said he'd teach me how to flip. As for enemy pie, I still don't know how to make it. I still wonder if enemies really hate it, or if their hair falls out, or if their breath turns bad. But I don't know if I'll ever get an answer, because I just lost my best enemy.
Good. That's a good book.
All right, guys, so now we're going to work on retelling the story. So first, we want to retell the story with our words. So listen as I do that for you. So, Enemy Pie is about a little boy who has another tells his dad about his new enemy, Jeremy Ross. So Dad says, well, let's make enemy pie, and starts going through the steps to make enemy pie with the little boy. But then Dad breaks a bombshell and says, the last step for enemy pie is you have to spend the day with your enemy. Oh no, big problem for the little boy. He doesn't want to spend the day with his enemy, and he has to be nice to him too. Then, at the end of the story, after spending the entire day together, the little boy realizes that Jeremy Ross is a pretty nice guy, and they are not enemies at all. Alright guys, you see how I retold the story? But only say the important parts, not every single word of the book. Now, you need to draw 3 boxes, and you need to label them like I did, beginning, middle, and end. And then you're going to draw a picture what happens at the beginning of your story, what happens in the middle of your story, and then what happens at the end of your story. The last thing we're going to do is write a sentence under each story explaining what is happening in the picture that we drew for the beginning, the middle, and the end. And so I've done that here. With my picture, I wrote Jeremy Ross moved in and the little boy didn't like him at all. And that matches my picture of him hanging up his enemy list with Jeremy Ross's name on it. The boy made an enemy pie with his dad, and the last ingredient was to spend the day with Jeremy Ross. So my picture shows him going to ask Jeremy to play. After spending the day together, the boy no longer had Jeremy Ross as his enemy. And this shows the part in the story where they are realizing they are not enemies, but actually friends. Alright guys, now you go pick your book and you go retell it. And I will see you next time for some realistic fiction.
Alright. Good job, Miss Dyer. That was a great video. Alright, now you pick your book, and you're going to draw 3 pictures. One for the beginning, the middle, and the end. Miss Dyer did a great job with that. Remember, she told you don't have to tell every single thing that happened. We talked about this when we did this in class. You do not have to retell the book word for word. You just have to pick the most important parts. Then you're going to write a sentence to go with each one of your pictures about the beginning, the middle, and the end. That should take you about 15 minutes or less. Do a good job and then come back. Okay. Hopefully you've done that. That would be a good time for your mom and dad to take a picture of your work to send and show it to me. Do it again. If you can do it in that notebook, then you keep everything together. All right, this next activity is an enrichment activity. It's not required, but it's a science, social studies, and it's producers and consumers. Are you a producer or a consumer? And you're going to explain when you are a producer or a consumer to a pet or stuffed animal today. You're going to, when you watch the social studies video, you're going to tell your pet or your stuffed animal or your mom or your dad or the tree or the flower you were watching what makes a producer and what it means to be a producer and what it means to be a consumer. All right. And then the extra read aloud, you've just done a read aloud too with Miss Dyer and then the Raz kids. So you do not have to do this today if you don't want to, but if you're trying to build stamina on reading and to be a better reader and a better listener and a better thinker, then you will do these activities. It says today's read aloud, the boy with the rainbow heart. How did the boy change his town? How did the people in the town change? These are the questions you're going to answer after you listen to the story. And then what lesson can we learn from the boy? After answering these questions, give me a smile or a heart in the comment section below. When you've gotten all this done, I want you to give me a smile or a heart down here. You're going to have your mom or dad, if they'll let you do it, give me a smile or a heart. After you've answered these questions, whether you answer them with a friend, well, guess not a friend, a family member, a stuffed animal friend is what I was thinking, or your dog or cat or snake. I think Gregory's the one with the snake. Ugh. Ugh. I told Gregory I wouldn't go to his house because he has a snake, but I'm going to go with him to the beach. Anyway, boys and girls, I hope this helped you to know what to do when you go through this video. If it does help you, let me know, and I'll do this for you if I need to every day, just to show you what to do. I just thought maybe I should give you an example of what we've been doing. All right, boys and girls, I hope you have a great day and a great great night. It looks like it's going to rain again over here in Powdersville, so stay safe and stay dry. Mwah. I miss you. For me. Oh. Bye-bye.